RCWR show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. Since 2011, you're listening to the RCWR show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
What is good, everybody? Lee Sanders here of the RCWR show, coming at you all with an exclusive on our website here at InfinityOneProductions.com. Also over on our good YouTube channel over at youtube.com/the RCWR show. We're coming at you with some WWE Clash of Champions picks, as it is our Call That Match edition. I know we haven't done this for you guys in a good minute. Sitting down, looking at the card. I am actually looking forward to talking about this card with you guys. Now, look, this is the first WWE Clash of Champions that we're getting, because remember, this is replacing the WWE Night of Champions, as that event was previously known under the name Vengeance, with the inaugural event that took place back December of 2001, and was replacing the regularly scheduled Armageddon event for that year. Leading up to 2002, the event featured Raw and SmackDown brands, and then the event was made exclusive to the SmackDown brand back in 2003, and then in 2004, it was made exclusive to the Raw brand. Now, following WrestleMania back 2007, all pay-per-view events became a tri-brand. So Vengeance took over WWE's or F's fully loaded scheduled date back in July of 2002, and then later moved to June 2005, switching schedules with the Great American Bash. But as of 2016, Night of Champions is no more, as it has been replaced by a WCW Classic in Clash of Champions, which I need to remind you guys, especially those of you that are a little bit of a wrestling historian buff, you appreciate some good old school wrestling. Maybe you don't know this, or maybe you do and you're just going to go binge again, but you can actually watch all 35 WCW Clash of Champions event on the WWE network. Or if you like, you go to your nearest FYE, or you go to your nearest Best Buy, Target, Amazon.com. You can actually pick up a compilation of the best in Clash of Champions under WCW. But a lot of good fond memories come to my mind when I think about the Clash of Champions. For sure, going back to 1988, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match between the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and Sting. Another one of my personal favorites, the Russian Chain match between Ricky Morton and Ivan Koloff. The I Quit match for the NWA World Heavyweight title, Terry Funk taking on Ric Flair. A lot of fond memories that I have for the Clash of Champions event. So I am really not quite sure how this WWE event is going to stack up to a lot of fond memories of the past. I think at this point, we really would have to be like, well, hell, will it at least be better than the last WCW Clash of Champions event back in 1997? Anybody remember the card for that one? Just a quick rundown. You had Steve McMichael defeat Jeff Jarrett. That was a singles match for the WCW United States title. Raven took on Stevie Richards. Alex Wright took on Ultimo Dragon for the WCW World Television Championship. Chris Jericho had faced Eddie Guerrero for the WCW Cruiserweight title. Psychosis, Silver King, Villano 4, Villano 5 took on Juventud Guerrera, Super Carlo, Hector Garza, and Liz Mark Jr. It was an 8-man tag match. Ric Flair and Kurt Hennig took on Conan and Six. And then your somewhat of a main event match, Scott Hall and Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth took on Diamond Dallas Page and Lex Luger. It was a tag match for the WCW World Tag Titles. So, somewhat a lot of fond moments there with regards to that card that I just mentioned. So you're thinking about this Raw exclusive brand version of Clash of Champions, kind of wondering, well, man, how's it going to maybe stack up to that card that I just mentioned? Will it be in a league of its own in a positive light, or is it going to be in a negative light? We shall know in due time. But this Clash of Champions event is coming to us from the Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Let's go no further. Let's talk about this card. So on the pre-show, we have Alicia Fox taking on Nia Jax. These two girls continuing their program that kicked off about 2 weeks ago, give or take. Anybody that's been listening to my live radio show of the RCWR show, which you can catch Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. It is available as a on-demand podcast once we are off the air for all your respective devices through various listening platforms such as iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Just use the keywords, the RCWR show. Of course, all the information will be in the episode description of this episode you're checking out right now. Anybody that's been listening to the show knows how much of a fan I have been of Nia Jax. I have been a strong supporter of Nia Jax through and through. Happy to say I saw a little bit of her actually before she made her NXT debut, and I was quite pleased with her work. A little bit that I saw, I thought she had a really good looking appearance, just a menacing appearance for a BBW. And I say that in the most respectful way, as I've always been a fan of my big girls, always. But Nia Jax has just been on a roll since she's been up on the Raw brand, just demolishing the competition left and right. And here we finally see Nia Jax in a position where she is somewhat having now a regular program with somebody. Quite honestly, I know that this is a pre-show match, but if it was me that was actually booking this, the story that has yet to be told so far by the WWE, the story that has yet to be told so far by the commentators, in particular Michael Cole, who is the veteran voice of WWE Raw, that I personally would like to look for in this pre-show match, I think really has to do with the fact that although Alicia Fox may appear as somewhat of a young girl to many in the WWE universe at age 30, you have to stop and really think about how long she has actually been with the WWE. She goes as far back to the WWE as 2008. 2008. Now, she made her wrestling debut in 2006. She pretty much had went through the OVW territory and all that before she ended up getting an actual contract with the WWE, but she's pretty much been on the main show since 2008. So you talk about some serious longevity there that she's had in the company. She's faced a lot of people during her time. She has been in some pretty decent feuds. She's been involved in some interesting alliances. But then when you go back and you look at her history, OVW Women's Champion, PWI ranked her 17 of the best 50 female wrestlers back 2010. Only a one-time Divas Champion. Just a one-time Divas Champion. And you just think about how long she's been in the WWE. I have always gone on record on this show many times because I've always been a big fan of Alicia Fox. Any longtime listener can back me up on this. I think it is a travesty that as beautiful and as young as Alicia Fox is, and as talented, pushing all that other stuff that I just said to the side, focus on the main key, as talented as Alicia Fox is, that to this date, in the 8 years that she has been with this organization, she has only touched the women's title once. something just is not quite computing with me with regards to that. So I'm really hoping that the story that can be told in this match, even though it is a pre-show match, is really doing a very superb job in getting Alicia Fox over. Because if you have been watching WWE programming for the past couple of weeks, you're kind of going, well, wait a minute, why should I really care about Alicia Fox taking on Nia Jax? I mean, we already saw this go down already. Nia Jax just steamrolled over her behind. Why should I care about this go round on a pay-per-view? Wouldn't the results be the same? What the hell? And I think the way you got to go in here, you tell the story, you mention the in-ring veteran experience. Even though she's 30, she's been at it for 8 years, she is a veteran. You hype that up, you bring up the accolades of her being a women's champion and basically saying, hey, look, Alicia Fox, she is at her most deadliest, she is at her most dangerous when she is focused, because that is the last thing you want to face in the middle of that squared circle is a focused Alicia Fox, because that makes a deadly Alicia Fox who has been known to pull an upset in her time. So that's the way that you really need to hype this matchup. I would actually try to let it be just a little bit close. Maybe you could have Miss Foxy do a little bit of dirty tactics early on in the match. Maybe she could do some type of a scenario where she focuses on the knees of Nia Jax, and that's pretty much her game plan. She tries to take out the knees, because if she takes out Nia Jax's knees, she pretty much takes out half of Nia Jax's offense, because Nia Jax is just this powerhouse of a wrestler that likes to do powerhouse moves. You take out the legs, that takes out her power bomb, that takes out her clothesline, that takes up any bear hugs, that takes up any body suplexes, any German suplexes, any running offense. You pretty much take like 80% of her arsenal away. But then I would love to see at the very end, because I think everybody knows Nia Jax is gonna get this W. She is gonna get this W, no matter when it's all said and done. I'm just trying to tell you guys how they need to do it. Suspension of disbelief. Try to work the crowd a little bit. Make it seem like Alicia Fox has a chance. Now, what's next for Nia Jax? Quite honestly, just thinking about the current landscape of the roster right now on the Raw division, honestly, I would not be that surprised if some type of a scenario occurs where maybe Nia Jax begins making the argument that she should be in the title hunt picture, but one thing leads to another, and she ends up feuding with some more jobbers before maybe she comes across her next victim, so to speak. If you ask me, quite honestly, who on the roster I would like to see Nia Jax maybe kind of go feud with next, honestly, I would love to see Charlotte. I would love to see Charlotte, title or no title, or Bayley. Which of those two would I like to see first? I probably am leaning a little bit more towards Bayley, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But I'm going with Nia Jax for the victory over Alicia Fox in the pre-show. Let's go to our next match. TJ Perkins taking on Brian Kendrick is a singles match for the WWE Cruiserweight title. I think we all can be in agreement. It was definitely very disappointing to not see TJ Perkins, the new WWE Cruiserweight Champion, on Raw this past week. And I went into great detail on how WWE ruined in just one night their Cruiserweight division. And for you guys that's like, whoa, Lee, that's pretty harsh. You actually have to go back, listen to the episode of the RCWR show available for downloads on demand to see and feel exactly where I'm coming from. For those of you that may be a little bit curious, that's episode 485 of the RCWR show. Again, episode 485. But just following up on that, the entire WWE universe officially now will be introduced to TJ Perkins, who has been a journeyman of a wrestler for some years now. Here he is. He's finally at the big dance. He is coming out of the gate fresh after his victory at the CWC tournament final conclusion and becoming the Cruiserweight champion, taking on the veteran, the Brian Kendrick. Boys and girls, I can't stress this enough. If you did not check out the CWC on the WWE Network, you really missed out. You have no excuse. If you have the WWE Network and the only time you give a flying hoot about the network is when it comes to the pay-per-view network wrestling special events, then surely you gotta go out of your way to put the CWC in there. If you're just showing up for the pay-per-views, if you're just showing up for the SmackDown Raw pay-per-views, you really missed out. Check out the entire tournament on demand, and you'll really appreciate why so many people are thinking very highly of TJ Perkins, why so many people are thinking very highly of Brian Kendrick. I'm actually looking forward to this match. This should be a really, really good one. I hope that they do this match justice. I hope that they're really able to go out there and live up to what we had saw of the CWC tournament, because with what I saw on Monday Night Raw, it really did not come off like a CWC match. And I think for those of you that watch what I had watched Monday night, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if not, just go back, check out the CWC, watch little bits and pieces of the tournament, and you'll adapt to the style very, very quickly. And then match that up to what we got on Raw. You'll see and feel exactly where I'm coming from. This should be a really good match. Honestly, as far as who's going to be the heel, who's going to be the babyface, I'm not really seeing that. I think the story that is really going to be playing out right now is basically Brian Kendrick going, look, I did the CWC tournament. I thought for sure I was going to win the whole thing, and I came up so short. I let myself down. I let my fans down. I let my best friend Daniel Bryan down. And now here I am again in an opportunity after winning a fatal 4-way match on Monday Night Raw to become the number one contender to face the Cruiserweight champion. Here is Lady Luck again shining upon thee. And I have a second opportunity, a second crack at the Cruiserweight title. This go around, I am not going to let this slip through my fingertips. I'm going to do what I need to do by any means necessary. That is the story that can be told with Brian Kendrick taking on TJ Perkins. This is a two-parter. This is about introducing TJ Perkins officially to the WWE Universe, because they're going to be seeing him on Raw every single week. It's all about introducing him as a champion, him holding on to that title. But also, the flip side to that, this is also about establishing TJ Perkins. And I think one of the best ways you can establish TJ Perkins right now is you continue to have Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins feud. If I'm looking at this match, yes, I would have TJ Perkins go over, but post-match, I would have Brian Kendrick, a sore loser, try to go for the handshake, but then beats the living crap out of TJ Perkins. You could maybe even put TJ Perkins on the shelf for 1 week, maybe even 2 weeks, right? Let your cruiserweight action continue and everything, but let Brian Kendrick, because he did a very good job with it years prior. He's a very good heel. He is a very good heel. So I say honestly, you let Brian Kendrick do that. That way he is established. The fans already know, oh, hey, this guy's a jerk. This guy we need to boo. You know, how could he do that to TJ Perkins? Because look at TJ Perkins. TJ Perkins just, and it's no disrespect to him, but he just screams babyface. He's a nice looking guy. He's got a nice looking body, Nice looking face. Probably adapts to the little kids. Girls probably like him. He's got marketability. I'll definitely give it to him. So, as does Brian Kendrick. But for me, this match is really about establishing TJ Perkins. So, honestly, Perkins for the victory, but I would have Brian Kendrick do as I said he would do the Perkins after the match is over. Let these guys continue to feud. This way, this helps establish TJ Perkins as the champion, and it established TJ Perkins with the WWE Universe and having the Universe get over on his side. I think this is a really, really good start to Perkins, let me tell you. This is actually, and I hope it goes in this direction, because that would just be really good booking by the WWE. Cesaro, Sheamus, it's the finals in the best of 7 series, as the series is tied 3-up. Honestly, who's going to win this? Quite honestly, I really don't care who's going to get this one, because honestly, look, and it's no disrespect to Cesaro. Cesaro is a fantastic wrestler. He is a fantastic wrestler. But you know, one of the main reasons why I don't care in particular about this match, because there's nothing at stake. There's no bragging rights. Not once have we ever heard, oh, well, this best of 7 series is happening because whoever wins this will come out of it as the number 1 contender to face any champion of their choosing. Now, when you have that option, it'd be kind of silly to just say, well, if that's the case, I'm just going to go after the WWE Universal title. But there's no carrot dangling over the heads of fans to make them feel invested in this match. How do you redeem that? How do you make the fans feel invested? I think, quite honestly, the way you do it is right when you go through the proper introductions of this match. Maybe you can have Stephanie McMahon or Mick Foley come out and say, guys, you've been tearing it up. Really appreciate this series you all have been doing, but this is the conclusion, and it's ending on such a strong note as winner takes all, and winner will be taking all, because whoever wins this will get the opportunity to face the WWE Universal Champion. Now, that could either be on an edition of Raw for that title, or it can be at the next Raw event. But I feel you gotta have that carrot dangling over the head of the participants going into this match. For sure, you gotta have that carrot dangling over the head of the fans to make them even be like, why should I care? That's how I would personally do this. And I would have Cesaro go over Sheamus. Quite honestly, Sheamus, I don't care how many times I see this guy. He can have spiked up hair. He can have slick back hair. He can have no hair. He can have cornrows. It don't matter to me. Sheamus in dire need of a refresher. Big time. A serious refresher. Enough said. Cesaro, still a lot of value in his stock. I'm looking at Cesaro to win the best of, but I really hope WWE goes in that route as far as the investment into this final matchup. Sami Zayn takes on Chris Jericho. Weeks of build-up. These two have been going back and forth. Really good program that's been happening. Kind of pays a little bit homage to the old days in wrestling. Really been enjoying this so far between these two guys. Sami Zayn has just been going through a lot over the past couple of weeks, man. He's suffered a few defeats here and there. Some at the hands of Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, if I'm not mistaken. Stock's been a little bit on the low there. Me, personally, I really feel he needs this win over Chris Jericho. Jericho does not need this win right now. Jericho is on such a good roll. I think we all can be in agreement on that. He has been on a really good roll as of late with the stupid idiot. You'll get it. His best friend, Kevin Owens, who has been the Universal Champion for blah, 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 blah days now. I mean, he's just really been be in agreement. It's been really fun watching Jericho within recent weeks, within the past couple of months. He's really been cranking it up a notch. So honestly, Jericho would be okay even in defeat. Jericho is Jericho. Sami Zayn needs this win more. And then what do you do with Sami Zayn afterwards? Quite honestly, maybe you kind of slide him into the picture for the WWE Universal title. That's just my wishful thinking right there. Or for those of you that's like, well, Lee, I don't really know if maybe Sami should go into the picture again just yet. I don't really know, man. Well, you could maybe slide him into the US title picture. The only reason why I kind of go with Kevin Owens is because, my God, those guys, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, great feud. That is a really great feud. I would really love to see those two guys just all balls out for the title. And I don't know, maybe we could possibly get that at WrestleMania? A little bit of wishful thinking right there. But I'm looking at Sami Zayn over Jericho. Charlotte takes on Sasha Banks and Bayley. It's a triple threat match for the WWE Raw Women's title. Is Dana Brooke banned from ringside? I don't quite recall if Dana Brooke is banned from ringside. Because I can't help but kind of wonder how much of a impact is Dana Brooke going to play into this match. I don't recall. I remember for another event, Dana Brooke was banned from ringside. But like now I'm kind of looking at this one and I'm kind of going, okay, was Dana Brooke banned? I don't believe she was banned. So I'm kind of looking at that. This could be a catch-22. I mean, on the one hand, Dana Brooke could help Charlotte retain, or it could blow up in Charlotte's face. So which direction do you maybe go right now? Quite honestly, I've really been enjoying the work of Charlotte. Really have been enjoying it. She's really been stepping up the game. The evolution of Charlotte, just from when she first came up to the Raw brand, she definitely struggled in trying to find herself. I think probably one of the best things to had ever happened to her in the development of her career and finding herself was being paired up with her dad, the Nature Boy. But at the same time, it did hinder her. It did hinder her in a way where you kind of felt as though she really wasn't quite living up to her truest potential. And I'm not really sure if that was because she had certain people in the company in one of her ears and then her dad was in the other. But I tell you, once the dad was kind of like pulled away, that's when things just really intensified. That's when things just really magnified. And we've got the Charlotte that we got right now, the cornerstone of this women's division. Just really, you can just inject her with all of the girls that's on that roster, and you got a good program in itself, whoever she just rubs elbows with. I mean, she's literally like a female version of Kevin Owens. That's just how much of a 180, that's just how much of a full circle it has come for her. I think she's been on a really good roll right now. Sasha Banks, look, all due respect, but the reports that's been put out there about her nagging injuries and all that, too many times we have been hearing this, even to the point Vince McMahon supposedly has been a little bit concerned about Sasha Banks because she wrestles, according to him, in one style, which is she goes too fast. And I don't know if that's maybe Vince's way, if this is legit of his way saying she kind of needs to slow things down a little bit, switch it up here and there. And then you have the beautiful and the lovely Bayley, who's really been getting over very well with the WWE fan base. This is going to be a very interesting matchup right here, but I'm going with Charlotte for the retain. I'm just going with that. Sasha Banks, I don't know. All the reports, it's just kind of, I'm not really sure. And with regards to Bayley, I think Bayley needs to continue to chase after Charlotte. Just chase after whoever is holding on to that title. So on this night, I'm looking at Charlotte for the retain. What's next? Well, I've alluded to it the past couple of weeks now. Personally, if it was me, I would have there be some type of a miscalculation on Dana Brooke's part during this match that almost costs Charlotte the title. And maybe at that point, Charlotte is in a position where she kind of realizes, you know what? You being around me, you're just not learning. You're not getting it. You have really just become a liability to me and to my title. I just cannot continue to take the risk of having be associated with you. That's basically it in a nutshell, is what I'm seeing from Charlotte. But I do see, what I personally would love to see is Charlotte turn on Dana Brooke. Dana maybe tries to keep chipping away at Charlotte, but she becomes the butt end of ridicule, jokes, all that. It just really kind of follows up on what I've been saying of how Charlotte and Dana Brooke, the program, their feud needs to launch respectfully. And that will be uploaded as an excerpt to the YouTube channel for those of you that's trying to make sense out of what I'm saying. But trust me, when you go and you check out the excerpt, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you follow me on Twitter and Facebook at the RCWR show, you'll definitely get the notifications when that excerpt will be uploaded. But it'll coincide with everything that I'm laying out here, and y'all will be in total agreement with me on that one. But Charlotte for the retain. New Day taking on Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson for the WWE Raw Tag titles. New Day, for me, they are starting to get really played out. It's starting to get stale. I would love to see things shake up. I mean, I'm just looking at the card so far, and guys, look at what all I've done so far. I've pretty much got people retaining so far. So is it maybe time for a little bit of a shakeup? And I think, quite honestly, yeah, you do need a little bit of a shakeup. I appreciate the fact that New Day has been going in there and they have been merchandise pushers. They are selling like hotcakes, and they will continue to have that. Make no mistake about it. But I'm looking at a team like Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, who's been on the main brand now for give or take they've been up there for about 5-6 months, maybe almost 7 months, and they're just kind of floating there. They need something that'll kind of increase their stock a little bit. They kind of need something that'll put some eyes on them. And quite honestly, I think now more than ever, you got to pull that trigger on Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They proved in their own respective right that they can be entertaining if you give them the opportunity. I think WWE has something here with these guys, and they should magnify on that. I think the bigger and more interesting story right now is to maybe have New Day chase after the tag titles. I really do not believe this is all about New Day retaining. I really feel at this point this is all about, hey, New Day, the established tag team, longest reigning tag champions, pull an upset. For my upset of the night, I've got to go with Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson becoming the new Raw Tag Champions. Time to switch it up. Rusev takes on Roman Reigns for the United States title. Far as we know, Lana not banned from ringside. How much of a factor is she gonna play in this matchup? Really have been enjoying Rusev, Roman Reigns the past several weeks now, man. I mean, they have really been planting the seeds. If you just really stop and think about it, these guys have been going at it for some weeks now. And I'm really looking forward to this matchup. This is going to be, for me personally, this is going to be a slobber knocker, to pretty much quote JR. How is Rusev going to come out of this, though? Is this another retain? I'm not really too keen on Roman Reigns as the United States champion. I am a firm believer, and I have been saying this weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks. The best antidote that WWE can use right now on Roman Reigns is to basically use him as an enhancement talent in putting other people over. have him stay away from gold, from some type of belt around his waist for at least a year. You gotta do that with Roman, because it's just gonna come off looking very tacky. It's gonna come off looking very cheap if you go, oh, well, we had him as the we had him as the WWE SmackDown champion or the World Heavyweight champion, but that didn't quite work out. Fans, they didn't really like that. All right, well, maybe we can make him become a U.S. champion. Well, that's not really working out. Well, maybe we could have him become a Raw Tag champ. You can't spread him around like that. That's just really gonna put him in a negative light amongst the fans. I do believe that this young man has a bright future in the WWE ahead of him. Look, the girls love him. The kids love him. That's like freaking 70% of your fan base right there. Okay? His problem is the adults, the grown men. That's what it's really coming down to right now. And a few grown women, but it's really the grown men that he's really having that hard time connecting with right now. And I have said this for months upon months upon months. WWE just needs to continue to do smart booking with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been having phenomenal matchups. I cannot recall the last time, if at all, I saw Roman Reigns in a bad match. He is a hard-working mother lover. Very hard-working. He's going to get his time in the sun. WWE, continue the course. I can't tell you how many times, week after week, I see fans on my Twitter timeline or in wrestling forums say, hey, man, look, Roman, he's starting to win me over, man. The booking is starting to get a little bit better with this guy. WWE, continue the course. Rusev, I got him retaining when it's all said and done. Would I like to see these two guys continue again? Yeah, I would not mind personally seeing them go at it one more time. But on this night, Clash of Champions, Rusev for the retain. I believe on that note, we have one more match to talk about, and that is Kevin Owens taking on Seth Rollins. He's defending the title here. It is the Universal Championship that's on the line. This should be a hell of a classic match right here. For me, this is going to be the match of the night. I am looking for 5-star quality, and anybody that's been listening to the shows past several months know how much of a big fan I am of Kevin Owens. I go as far back as Kevin Owens to his days as Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen. Alright? So, and I did not say you deserve it. I just was like, hey, alright, kudos. Different topic for another time. Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. Probably one of the big questions that comes into my mind right now is, will Triple H be a factor into this match? I still think it's kind of interesting that we have a scenario play out where we saw Triple H several weeks back helps out Kevin Owens by pedigreeing Seth Rollins, beating the crap out of Roman Reigns, and we've yet to see a follow-up on that. Does Triple H play some type of a factor in this matchup? Or is it really just going to come down to these two guys just slugging it out? That's really the true story in itself right now. But one could also make the argument at this point, do you need a Triple H to pop up in this matchup and perhaps try to screw Seth Rollins once again? Quite honestly, if it were me, if I were booking this, it's September right now. I don't really know if you maybe go there one more time. Maybe I would tease it a little bit. I don't really know. I don't really know how to answer that, guys. But for me personally, just thinking about things from a writing standpoint, I would I would put Triple H in there. I would maybe have him come out there, not even get physical, but just the fact that his presence is there, maybe that would make Seth Rollins kind of choke a little bit, and maybe that could have him once again go on a little bit of a conspiracy streak, conspiracy talk with Stephanie and Mick Foley, trying to figure out, like, what the hell do they have against him, trying to become the champion again, what the hell. But I don't really think that's needed, and I'll tell you the reason why, as far as not having a Triple H appearance goes. Because if you notice the past couple of weeks, it's really coming off as though Seth Rollins is like doing the babyface turn. The seeds have been planted. I'm not quite there just yet on full-blown Seth Rollins, but the seeds have been planted there. So I expect a very interesting dynamic for this matchup right here. I think everybody's going to be cheering both of these guys big time during this matchup, but I'm seeing Kevin Owens for the retain. What happens the night after? I think we'll talk a little bit more about that on our Clash of Champions post show, because once I see the pay-per-view in the books, then we kind of have really a nice idea on where things will probably end up going. But again, the recap pre-show, I got Nia Jax over Alicia Fox. TJ Perkins retains the Cruiserweight title over Kendrick. Cesaro winning the Best of 7 series. Rusev retains the U.S. title over Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn over Jericho. Charlotte retains over Bayley. Upset of the night, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson become your new Raw Tag Champions. Kevin Owens for the retain over Seth Rollins. One big factor, and I would be like set on fire if I did not mention this, is the fact that Bill Goldberg supposedly is going to be in the area this weekend, and a lot of folks that have had the opportunity to interview him are wondering, hey, are you doing something for the WWE? Now, of course, he's not going to say, yeah, I am. No, he's not going to say that. Of course, he's going to deny it. So, will Goldberg make some type of a appearance? You got me, guys. You got me as far as if he would make some type of a appearance. If he were to make some type of an appearance, where would you put Goldberg on this card? Where would you put him exactly? Quite honestly, if it were up to me, personally, if it were up to me, at the end of the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match, I would have Kevin Owens celebrating in victory and all that. He turns around, I would have Goldberg spear the living hell out of Kevin Owens, and I think that is how you create your shocking OMG moment of the night. And it's like, who the hell? And it's Goldberg. I think that's how you really get things popping. If you want to plant some seeds for, man, I got to check out Raw Monday night. Because just think about this entire card that I mentioned right now. There's no, like, where's your OMG of the night? If WWE and Bill Goldberg have been in talks, and if he is going to be there on official WWE business, if he's ready to go, because I know he had got some knee surgery a while back. He may be at 100% now. I mean, that was a good while ago. A very good while ago. If he's at 100%, that could be your OMG moment of the night. That could be your shocking moment of the night. Would I say don't be too surprised if it happens that way? Yeah, I would probably say don't be too surprised if it happens that way. I would definitely say that. That's just my wishful thinking right there. But you gotta have some type of sizzle. You gotta have some type of pop. So if you do not go the Goldberg route, do you maybe go the Triple H route once again? At this point, I don't really think you need to go the Triple H route. But that Goldberg route sounds very, very interesting in itself right there. Don't forget, we're going to be coming at you guys with our WWE Clash of Champions post show. It's our live reaction show that's going to be coming at you live this Sunday, September 25th, 2016. We're going to be coming on at 11 p.m. Eastern, or as soon as Clash of Champions concludes. That'll be live on Spreaker.com. Join me. We'll cover the results, get you all's feedback. Live chat room will be open, all that good jazz. And make sure you follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Love to stay connected with you guys. I'm at the RCWR Show. Don't forget, if you can't catch that live reaction show, you'll be able to catch it on demand and on the downloads for your respected listening devices. And then aside from that show, your next edition of the RCWR Show will come at you on Tuesday, the 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. That is going to do it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how I laid things out this go round. And that's going to do it. Wishing all y'all to be safe, be kind to one another. See you for that Clash of Champions live reaction show this Sunday.